Oh, my brothers and sisters, I got a good one today. Um, the Lord gave me a strong desire today to go back into the book of Revelations. And I was in a meditative state reading it. And I felt like a lot of things were starting to click in my head. But who's ready to go home? I'm ready to get on out of here. Alright, what we want to look at is the 144,000. This is the raptured up. These are the people who will be raptured up. And the first mention of this in the book of Revelation is Revelation 7, verse number 4. And it talks about the different tribes. 12 tribes, 12,000 from each tribe. Now, the reason why I know this is the raptured up, you say, how do you know this? Well, if you go to Revelations 14, verse number 3, right? It tells you exactly who these people are. It says, with him, well, look, verse 1, it says, with him were the 144,000. So they're already with him, with Jesus. And then if you look at verse 3, it says, no one could, well, you gotta look all the way toward, almost to the last sentence. It says, no one could learn this song, because they were singing a song, except the 144,000 who had been redeemed from the earth. So they're already redeemed. They have been already taken. And so the first mention of them is in Revelation 7, and then you see them again in Revelation 14. So basically, it seems to me like they're not here for the beasts, where it talks about Revelation 13, and it's and a couple of other things, the witnesses and the a couple of the trumpets. So that it seems to me that they're not gonna be here for that, because it's what it says here in 7 is that right before the angel is given power to harm the land and the sea, the seals are placed on their heads. Now, while I was reading this, I remember I had a vision of what my one of my close friends told me, that he had a rapture dream, and in his dream, he was being taken up, and he had a seal on his forehead and on his hand. I believe he told me on his right hand, as he was being taken up into heaven, or wherever, Jesus is taking them. But when I had the vision of what I was told, of what he told me, I was also thinking in my head, or a voice came to my head that said, that is how Satan perverts or tries to imitate God, which is that Satan will place a mark on his people, on their forehead and on their right hand. So Satan is going to do pretty much the same thing that God is going to do for his people, for the ones that will be raptured up on that day. So Satan is going to place a mark of the beast on your forehead or right hand, and same thing Jesus does is you get a mark set on your forehead, possibly your hand too. I don't know. It doesn't state here, but from the dream that my friend had, he had a mark on his hand and forehead as he was being raptured up. Now, this is the key thing for the 144,000. I believe that the seals are open already. You have the wars, you have the famine, you have the prices are going up in food. But the key signs that you want to worry about, which are the key signs for the redemption, for your redemption or the taking up, would be on Revelation 6 and 12. This is when the sun becomes dark as black cloth, the moon becomes red as blood, and the stars fall to the earth. And those things have not happened yet that I can recall or think of. So, right after that, when these things happen, basically the earth is in turmoil. And it says, when you go to Revelation 6:15, it says the wealthy and the kings and the people, they start to hide in the caves. And they're just, they're afraid for their lives. But the big thing is, when you see the stars fall to the earth, which I would say it would be like a meteor or a comet or something of that nature, then you know that the rapture is close at hand or about to happen. So then when you go to, I believe that I feel in my spirit, in the Holy Spirit, that the Revelation 7, the marking, equals the rapture. The mark on the forehead equals the taking up of the church. Now, there's going to be some people left behind. Not everyone is going to go up. It's 144,000. That's not a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of people left behind. So when you look at, if you look at Revelations 14, it says in verse 3 at the end, those are the people who have been redeemed. So they're already gone. They're already up in heaven worshiping God. Also, another thing I wanted to mention, Revelations 7:14, it talks about the Great Tribulation in my version. I don't know if its other versions are the same. But it seems that right after the church, right after the rapture, there's going to be a lot of people dying. Because it shows 7:14, Revelation 7:14. It says these are the ones who died in the Great Tribulation. So it seems like immediately after the rapture, a lot of people are going to start to die. Then after chapter 7, you have more seals being broken, more stuff coming toward the earth. You got the witnesses coming out. Then you got the beasts of the sea and the earth, the Antichrist. Then around Revelation 9, it talks about the angel tells people, starts to warn them not to take the mark on the forehead or on the hand, because Satan, basically, he's gonna do his own rapture right there. That is crazy. That revelation is wild. Satan is rapturing his people during the time of the tribulation. He's marking them with his mark. Look at Revelations 13:16. It says, he requires everyone, small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to be given a mark on the right hand or on the forehead. So Satan is marking his people now. He's doing basically the same thing God did on the rapture. He's perverting God's master plan. He's going to mark his people. When you look at 14 and 9, Revelation 14 and 9, the angel's telling people not to take this mark. It says, if you take it, you will be tormented with fire and burning sulfur in the presence of the holy angels and the Lamb. So, you're going to be thrown into hell if you take this mark of Satan. Then, Revelations 14:12, it says, you must endure persecution patiently. So basically, you're gonna endure a lot of persecution. And then in Revelations 14:13, some people are gonna die. Some holy people are gonna die. A lot of us are gonna die. So it says, blessed are those who die in the Lord. So I'm assuming some of us are going to live through it, the tribulation. Some of us are going to die during it. Some of us will be raptured up before it. And then the time of the judgment comes in Revelation 14:18. It says, basically says the earth, they are ripe for judgment. So the earth will be judged, or people will be judged. There's going to be a judgment, and after that, Revelations 15, the last paragraph after the song, the wrath of God is coming upon the earth. Okay, but long video short, I believe that the rapture takes place right there on Revelation 7, when the God's people are going to take the mark on the forehead. That mark on the forehead is going to equate to the rapture. Based on some people's dreams and visions they had, there might be a mark on the hand as well. It might be a mark on the forehead and the hand. That could, when the people receive that, to go into heaven. And the big sign that you want to look for right after the sun becomes black and the moon becomes blood and the stars fall to the earth. Right after that, immediately after that, the rapture will take place. So I hope this helps a lot of people, and I hope this blesses many people. And see you in heaven.